Today we are talking about your most unhinged design opinions. And we're not talking about, oh, I'm sick of gray walls. We're talking the most controversial design decisions that you are willing to stand on. We invited y'all to do so on our Instagram channel, or what do you call it? Our Instagram, I guess.
Our Instagram.
And you guys gave it to us, and we are going to share them today. And are we going to dish our own opinions on them?
Yeah. So I started the whole matter because I said no more skirted toilets or unskirted toilets.
Unskirted toilets.
I want skirted toilets for all peoples because they're easier to clean, and I just don't think it should be more difficult to create them, even though they're more expensive because they're the hot ticket item.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I began this whole thing. And so we asked you, and you gave us some great feedback.
So I categorized them so that some of them are packaged together and some of them even conflict, but they're in the same section, like kitchen, flooring options, space planning. And so we are going to kick it off with the kitchen unhinged opinions. Okay, the first unhinged kitchen opinion is I still prefer old-fashioned kitchen cabinets on the lowers. I think going to all drawers is limiting. I like being able to open all the doors to my cabinets and truly see what I have. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I like a big drawer, but it has to be deep enough for your pots. I also love these new fangled kitchen like doors where you can have your pot lids and different things. So they make something for everyone now. So if you are more prone to like cabinetry, they have all the gadgets for cabinets. If you're a drawer gal or guy, they have things for drawers to make them organized. So it's really about functionality, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, so I think I would make a list of the things that I am storing, how I'd like to store them. I personally think I'm a fan of the drawers because you can get more niche on each item, if that makes sense. Like more smaller categories in each drawer versus like my Tupperware cabinet is it's a mess.
It's a mess. But I will say this. I have very strong opinions about spice drawers.
Yeah.
Very strong, because the ones I have now, not a fan. I pull them out and I cannot read because they're down here. If I had any sense, I would have put them in a drawer where I pulled them out where I could see the labels.
Oh, mine, I can see the labels and I love it, but it's up.
It's up and you pull it out and you can see the labels. So I just feel like storing your spices or your oils or all these items lower is not the best option.
Unhinged.
I'm unhinged.
Okay, not into pot fillers. Nobody come at me.
Wow. Okay, she said nobody come at her because we did not know this was a thing. And I'm telling you, people have very strong opinions about pot fillers. And it's okay. It's okay. We had to talk someone off a ledge.
Yeah,
recently.
They were very intense about not having one.
No pot fillers for dog bowls, no pot fillers for...
Well, I will say, to me, they are decorative. I don't see myself using it functionally often, but I do get the function of it. I splurged on a pot filler for my coffee bar. I've used it twice. But
it looks cute.
It's so cute. And so I think you just have to decide, are you going for the aesthetics or I think the people that are most of the time very hardcore or completely unhinged are mostly thinking about the function. But
I think they do serve a function. I did have one in an old house that we lived in, and I actually used it.
Yeah.
But I will say I haven't had it in this house, and it's not something I think about. You know, there's things that you think, wow, I wish I still had that.
Well, okay, I think you've gotten picky about water filtration since then.
Yeah.
I think when you were using it, you were okay with using tap water to boil spaghetti.
No, not anymore. No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so let's that's number 2.
So I need a whole water filtration house system is what you're telling me.
Yes, and if you have recommendations for that, let us know because we're both in the market. What is one of the most toxic things in your home?
Well, it's your mattress.
And that's why we were so excited to introduce Birch Living to you, and they have a solution for this. They have mattresses that are made of 100% organic wool, cotton, and all natural latex, so you don't have to worry about all the harmful gunk off-gassing while you're spending your 1/3 of your life.
Polyurethane.
And
Fiberglass. No.
No, let's not do that.
We're kind of crunchy girls.
We're kind of crunchy. If we're going to invest in something, we want it to be something that is improving our health, our lives,
Yes.
and
our sleep.
our sleep. And that's important to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, we want to wake up in the day and be ready for anything that comes our way.
Yes. One thing that's awesome about Birch Living is that they have a 100-day guarantee. So you get to experience the mattress for 3 months. And if it's not for you,
Can send it back. They also have great delivery. If you order it, they can come and they can take your old mattress away.
here we have the Birch Living Luxe, which has a thicker padding. How have you felt sleeping on this mattress?
Well, we wake up refreshed, and Dad has issues sometimes with his back. So when he wakes up and he doesn't complain, that makes me happy.
Yes. We are picky sleepers around here. So now we are going to enjoy the most comfy, non-toxic, healthy, relaxing afternoon sitting here, maybe looking at some home inspiration. I'm nap trapped. Mom's nap trapped. And so we do have a discount code for you today and a QR code on the screen for you to use it. Go to birchLiving.com/farmhouseliving and use the discount code BirchPartner27 for 27% off. We cannot wait for you to try this one out. Thank you, Birch Living, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, next Unhinged. Sink in the middle of a huge island. Makes no sense to me. Like, do you really want the dishes right where everyone congregates?
Again, I mean, this is a space planning thing. Like in the Park Place project, we really had no other option but to put the sink in the island. However, I too like a big island for serving. So that's how we live as a family. We use it for serving. And I actually had an old cooktop in this one here and I took it out.
Yeah.
Because I think that really would have limited my space.
Yeah, and I think there's so many ways to skin the cat. You have a galley kitchen, so you do have the luxury of having multiple walls. If your kitchen is in an L shape, that does give you some limits because you have to put your fridge against the wall, your range against the wall, your sink against the wall. I mean, you're really limiting yourself, or you are limited, but it's still a great kitchen layout. So I think I can see pros and cons, but I think it's going to vary depending on your kitchen layout. Okay, so speaking of layout, that is the next category. It is floor plans, and I will say, people are passionate about floor plans. I set this one off and I said, personally, I'm not into open floor plans. I love to see more dedicated spaces. I want a living room we just use the living room, and then a more formal sitting space for drinks, conversation.
So I have a weird thought on that. So people are going back to more dedicated spaces now, and I think that's really cool, less open. However, I still want to be able to kind of see what's happening. So I would say I'm an in-between girl. I like my house right now because one room flows to the other room to the other room, and I can see from one to the other, but I feel very much in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen, in the living room when I'm in the living room.
Your house is easy to design because everything is dedicated but open, like these little eyebrows.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is just boxy walled off rooms are not my favorite, but dedicated spaces are.
Yep. So more people have said, I don't like open floor plans. enough with the open floor plans. But then I have to go with open floor plan. I did it. I hate it. Never will I do it again. But then we got, these comments are great. I love our open floor plan and we'll never go back. Also, I still love accent walls.
So really, again, we come back to how does your family function and what is important to you? Because as I've said, I am not the architectural review board for the world. Now, I wish I were sometimes, but I'm not. And now, as I'm aging and getting older, I realize that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I need to give room for everybody to be who they are. Unless you're tacky. And then call me. No,
and then I'm unhinged.
No, then I'm unhinged.
Well, yeah, I think for me, I can see both sides. I have little kids, and so I like them to have a dedicated playroom. My living room is dedicated to actually like hanging out, and I want it to be a space of relaxation, not of clutter. And then my kitchen, I don't want toys everywhere, so I don't want that open into the clutter of the playroom or if it overflows in the living room. So anyways, I can see both sides of the coin though, because I also want to make sure my kids aren't destroying something while I'm cooking dinner.
True.
So it really depends on what I'm doing.
Yes. Do you want to lock them in the playroom or, do you want them out where you can see them?
See them safe.
Yeah.
I go back and forth. Okay, so this came up multiple times. I categorized this. This is a full category. Sofas against walls.
Wow.
Unhinged.
Yeah.
So I don't like recliners or sofas against the wall. I also don't like shelves in my living.
Wait. You can't have a recliner against a wall. How are you going to recline?
It's true, but I think she just meant like tight against the wall, like in general, making like your layout is great. It's not tucked away. It gives, but in general, I think that pulling your furniture in a little bit just looks more sophisticated.
However, there are people that have very tight spaces and you have no choice but to put your sofa because you're in an apartment or you're in a very small, compact space. And so there's still a way to make that look cool.
Well, I think you have to be intentional in other ways to elevate your space. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that could be art, that could be pairing your art with wall sconces or great lighting or layers on your sofa or just great furniture pieces in general.
And also you can pull off other pieces of furniture if you have to have the large sofa against a wall. You can put occasional chairs out in the middle of a room to make conversation area. So I think there's a way to do it if you have to do it. But if you don't have to do it, don't do it.
Yes. Okay, the next thing regarding sofa and furniture selection, stop putting gigantic L-shaped sofas in living rooms. Get two beautiful pieces instead. Do better.
Now listen, Shelby has strong unhinged opinions on this. I do not.
I wouldn't say strong. I just think like a movie room sofa is a movie room and then a living room. Like I have literally had a sectional. And we used to host small group at our house. And it was like, who sits in the corner? And you're like tucked away.
Plus, who sits by who and how tight do you get?
Yes. It was just so much better when like a couple and then one other person would they would be on one sofa. And then same situation with the other sofa. And then you had chairs. So it kind of broke up your guests better. So
it does break up your guests better. I have two sofas. And I will say it feels more conversational to me.
Yeah.
Because we're not all next to each other.
I also don't like deep couches in living rooms.
I do.
Because I don't want, we're probably the same height, right?
Yeah, we're 5'2.5".
Wow, that's giving us something. I think we're 5'1". But I literally can't tell you how often I've gone to someone's house and my legs are just
like a little kid.
And so I just don't, I think that's fine if I'm watching a movie in your media room, if you have that experience to offer in your house.
Well, you can get up on it, cozy up on there. Just put your feet up, you know?
I don't know. So I'd be curious your opinion on that.
I never sit proper. Do I?
I don't really sit proper either. I've always got like my legs up in a chair, I don't know. There's something about what
our chiropractor always tells us.
She tells me that she can tell I lean on the sofa like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to
Dr. Cassidy. She's the best. Okay. Accent walls is the next category. I dislike anyone using one accent wall done in wallpaper. It looks unfinished.
So here's the thing. It's much like an open and closed floor plan. We are seeing people go away from the accent walls back to traditionally wallpapering the entire room. That's what we're seeing trend. I personally like that. However, a well-appointed accent wall that is in a certain area,
I think it's case by case.
it's case by case because we can see it sometimes.
Yeah, but if it doesn't have if it doesn't almost form like an alcove or something, like this is a niche area, then just do the whole room. If it's just like
whole room.
A standard wall, I would just look, does this look unfinished? And then look at what makes it.
Because that's really what we're talking about. And that's what she's saying is that it feels unfinished.
And if you don't have the budget to wallpaper floor to ceiling your whole room, I think just do a
wainscoting.
Yeah, paneling at the bottom, or
except if you're one of our unhinged people who doesn't like shiplap.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of that, I don't like walls that are grid work paneled like you are painting here. The grids dictate where you can hang your artwork.
You thought that. See, Shelby has
I have
picture paneling. Board and batten.
So in my living room, we did board and batten, and that wasn't actually me trying to do a trend. That was me trying to save money because I was trying to renovate my entire house for $30,000, and that included replacing all my hardwoods and taking out all of the baseboards that were filled with cat urine. So you could see I had to really stretch my budget.
And your creativity.
And I would love to do some updates since we're like another phase of updates. But one of the things we had to do in the living room was that was a solution to update the paneling that was already there. Doing all drywall was just going to be more.
Yeah, so when I came in with some art to put on the wall and Shelby realized I had it on the board and batten, one of the larger ones, and then the smaller one was on top, was not on the board and batten. It was inside the space. And she said, wow, that looks great.
It looks layered. It's such a vibe. So I was glad that she ignored my criticism and just went for it.
Yeah. So there is ways, my point in saying that, to hang art on a board and batten wall.
Well, and this one is more of like a grid. This is a spec house that we're working on in Dallas. And we actually did a Sherwin-Williams color called Iron something. It's beautiful. And we are going to start using that color in more spaces, I have a feeling. But they really, in that area, love a modern, fresh look. I can see those are going to be probably more minimalist than maybe someone that watches our channel. And so they're probably not going to hang a ton of art on those walls.
But they may hang a big mirror, a buffet, or
big
something.
Tapestry.
Something.
So many options.
Yeah.
And we're going to help him select some amazing lighting for that space, which is going to totally make it work. So, and I just want to say, none of these decisions, even though some of these things, like I have something coming up that is, you are an offender, nothing's offensive. We can all have our own design opinions, right?
What did I just say? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Michelle Wallace.
Well, I didn't make that up. It's a quote.
Okay, the next one you are an offender, but you also agree with. It is white ceilings, so boring, unfinished, just ugh. Thankful to see color drenching and wallpapered ceilings become more of a thing.
I've always tried to say the ceiling is the fifth wall and it draws your eye up. And I've always tried to do things in ceilings, either millwork, like I have shiplap up here. I have wallpaper on my ceiling in the powder bath. So I have my bedroom is color drenched. I have all the right answers for this gal. However, the green room, I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't paint the ceiling in this dark, dark, dark green. But I had two directions that I wanted to go. Either I was going to color drench it and make the ceiling green, or I saw a really cool option with these very thin boards, these slatted boards all the way across with a high gloss paint. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but listen, I can't make up my mind, hence why that room still has a giant white ceiling.
Yeah. I think I would just go and paint it. That Bear Pine Mountain would be what I would do, but
it's so cool to have that. You'll have to see that picture that I've been carrying around.
It's cool, but my thought, and I'm a little bit more conservative from a financial standpoint, is would I invest not only millwork but high gloss paint in my guest room?
A girl can have dreams.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So the next one. Okay, you'll agree with this too. I don't like white trim work throughout. I like tone on tone. So we are seeing people do this where they are not selecting a different color for their trim. Now, I will say, I watched a video the other day where a designer, he shared that sometimes it is a case by case. Like color drenching is a beautiful trend. We're seeing it and we're seeing it executed well. But he prefers when you're doing a really beautiful, intricate trim, either ceiling, mold, you actually do want those to be white and the color of the wall to be different so that it pops.
Or a different color, not necessarily white.
Yes, but it's a contrasting
moment. And so also I think it might be dictated by your style because in so many instances, people that are more traditional, or I don't really know what to call it, but if you have molding, I have a lot of crown molding in this house and I didn't want to take it down and I like it.
But you really wanted it to more so disappear.
I wanted it to kind of disappear because it's like back in the day when they did triple crown molding, I got triple crown, y'all. And so
this was just a better option. It's not
for my aesthetic.
Yeah. And so I think the theme of this Unhinged design opinion video is there are no hard and fast rules.
Yeah, you just don't be tacky.
Don't be tacky. And Michelle's opinions are valid. The most valid. Okay. The next theme is minimalist versus maximalist. So this Unhinged opinion is, I'm all for choosing timeless pieces, antiques, and family heirlooms, but too many people have gone full on grandma's house, and I'm over that. Curated, fine. Jumping full on the bandwagon, not so much. Sorry, not sorry.
I kind of agree. This is the first time I'm going to say I am all in on this comment because I think you can take things too far. I really do.
I don't think it's too far is the right word. I think it's the people that's not their true aesthetic that are trying to make it happen and they're overdoing it versus other people where it's always been their aesthetic and it naturally kind of fits in their home. So I think we have a lot of good examples. I think Grand Millennial to me feels like it could be overdone way more than this like
grandma style?
No, Grand Millennial versus this like vintage, traditional, like Stephanie Benedetto's house, Blooming Ivy Lane. I feel like she's more traditional. She's not grand millennial. And I definitely would categorize as a maximalist. Whereas Bingham, the Bingham estate is grand millennial.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them have very intentionally placed items, and they have a lot of them and a lot of layers and pattern play and all of that stuff. And I can see where it's not about the volume of things you have. It's about
that they're well appointed and placed in a cohesive manner.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's a gift to be able to do that.
I don't know that we have the gift as well as some other people.
Don't you put that on me.
Sorry.
No, I'm a planner, so I had to plan the base of it.
And we too like white space.
I enjoy a little rest for my eye. Yes.
Yeah.
But I can also really appreciate it. I can really appreciate a well-appointed home.
Yes.
And I think both the Bingham, Stephanie's house, I think that we have a lot of examples of just stunning, collected, curated homes that I would say that you would categorize that as maximalist, and I do not think it's overdone.
And again, going back to the Cotswolds, I love watching videos of people in the Cotswolds, and they have a lot of eclectic mix of, but one of the things that is a thread through all of it is everything is just very organic and nature inspired. And so I think you can do it if there is that thread too.
Yeah. Is it cohesive?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I meant that if it's your natural style, that's where it works, because you're curating based on what you truly enjoy versus just being like, oh, someone used this, someone doing this, someone doing this. So you're cramming together a bunch of things that don't work.
Right.
Okay, so I don't like every space being filled. Openness makes it so much more open and light. I'm assuming she means not having a bunch of stuff, but she could also be another comment on the floor plan thing. But
yeah, well, I mean,
it could be both.
It sounds like she likes a cleaner, more modern aesthetic.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you can take that too far too. We talked about it before, and please don't get offended if this is your house, but one thing we don't love, and I wouldn't say we're unhinged about it, is uber modern.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just not.
I want to be cozy.
Cozy. They said not to use that word anymore.
Who?
If somebody said quit using cozy, it's overused.
Give me another word and I'll use it. But I think cozy is always going to be.
Yeah, cozy's a thing.
I mean, I think cozy's always a good word.
I do too.
I mean.
But in real estate, cozy means small.
Yes. If you're seeing a real estate listing, it says a cozy such and such. Yeah. It just means they're trying to sell you
a tiny
home. Okay. So, but in our videos, if we use cozy,
it means warm and comfy.
It could be a giant cozy house.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Flooring is the next category. I hate hardwood floors in bedrooms and living rooms. I want carpet and a rug. It's just not the same.
Okay, you know what? This is another place where people have very strong opinions. And I personally have a very strong opinion because of all of my
pets
and children and my mechanic husband. And I've told you all this before, but Ron likes a rug. He likes a carpet. So I try to get a large scale carpet rug on the floor for him because he likes that. But if I need to, I can roll it up and throw it away. It's harder to do that when you've installed carpet.
Yeah.
So, and I would say I'm okay with hardwood in a bathroom.
No, we're not there yet.
Oh.
She said bedrooms and living rooms.
Bedrooms and living rooms. I don't like carpet anywhere. I do have it upstairs.
I like hard surfaces strictly for cleaning, and I put down great rugs, and they are disposable if they need to be, but they are also cleanable if they need to be. They're easier to clean, and that is, now, if I had no accidents ever, I can see the perk of carpet.
Sure. And look, there's some beautiful wool carpet for bedrooms that I would.
But if you invested that much money, how would your heart feel when
someone peed on it
or
something
spilled
else?
Juice. I mean, there's so many things that happen around here. Okay, the next one. You're an offender. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I don't like hardwood floors in bathrooms.
Okay, and I understand that because I never would have thought to put hardwood in a bathroom. However, in our case, I literally searched the internet high and low to try to find the right tile that went with everything else that was going on in my bathroom when I was redesigning it. And nothing worked. And my wood flooring guy said, just run the wood in there. And I, in fact, love it.
Okay, I have two more that have a miscellaneous category. The first one is, I hate arches, arch doorways, niches, all of it, and I have some.
Well, we like arches, but maybe you don't like Mediterranean and you associate arches with that style. So I understand. And
well, it's kind of like when people associate shiplap with farmhouse and they don't see it being used in many different styles. My favorite arches that we've ever done are the arches upstairs at the Park Place house, and they have the wood trim around them. Stunning. I cannot see that ever going out of style. Now it is an eyebrow, so it's a little bit of a softer look.
Subtle arch.
Subtle, but I also love the complete arch going into their pantry, and I could definitely see myself doing it. We featured many homes with arches, lots of arch inspiration.
Don't want to overdo it.
I'm a fan, but you're right.
Don't overdo the arch.
Yeah.
But if you don't like an arch, don't do an arch.
I think you might want to explore. Maybe there's something in you that
needs healing from the arches.
Okay, the next one is white doors bug me. Paint them, please. Also, minimalistic art everywhere from Winners. I'm not sure what Winners is. It must be a store somewhere. You guys tell me if you're not from Texas what Winners is. Or everything just being beige or all gray or different shades of those two just tells me you're tasteless.
Wow. Yeah, I agree. I mean, come on, people. No, I'm just kidding.
You do have great example of painted doors in your kitchen. You have the dog room, the laundry, and your pantry door. All are Sherwin-Williams iron ore, which is the same color as your island. But you don't have every door in your house.
No, but I do think, like you had doors that were just flat panel. I do think if you are going to have a door and it's white, you added molding.
Yeah.
Right? So I think a door needs to be interesting. I think doors are an opportunity to create a moment. Right?
Yeah, but you could also overdo that too. I think it's just intentionally plan, and that will solve what you're supposed to do with your doors, your walls, your sofa, your rugs, everything.
Yeah, and if you have an all-white room, there's always an opportunity to bring in color through other...
Yeah.
But don't buy art from Winners. We don't have Winners.
We don't know what Winners is. Winners could have great art.
Yeah, we don't know.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're tasteless. Maybe they haven't had time to plan. Or they got overwhelmed when they planned. Or they bought a spec house. Or they bought a house that someone just painted all gray because they were trying to sell to the masses. I mean, there's so many different factors here. We don't need a name call.
No, it's okay. I totally get it. Again, you and I, we could be the architectural review committee of the world.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Okay, so that was all. I hope you enjoyed our unhinged design opinions that we collected from you and the feedback. I would love to make this a series.
And you asked me a question earlier.
What is your most unhinged... Well, you've mentioned tacky many times in this video. Like, you can have your own opinion, just don't make it tacky.
Right.
What is the most tacky thing you can think
That's what you asked me, and all that would pop in my head were clowns. Like, I just saw clowns, and I was like, clowns.
I'm going to use AI to make a crazy clown room.
Somebody has clown collections, and so don't be angry with me if you're a clown collector. But I'm not a fan of clowns.
How do you know that they
I mean, there's people who have full rooms that are full of clowns.
You think they're watching our channel?
They might be.
No.
Well, they won't be after this. That's it.
Are we breaking up, Clown Collector? Okay, speaking of interesting collections, we're about to head out to an estate sale, and I thought it'd be fun to end this video by inviting you guys to tell us what we should buy at the estate sale. It is literally up the road from Mom's, and we're just gonna zip around real quick
and show us your clown collections. No, just kidding. Okay. All right, guys, we love you so much. Bye.